With the rise of inflation, more Americans than ever find themselves feeling buried under debt. But paying off that personal debt is an important part of managing your finances. Some thoughts on that from financial advisor Ernie Burns. Good morning to you.
Morning.
A lot of people are they're buried under a mountain of debt now.
Yeah, they are, and they've added 17% on their debt since this time last year. So inflation's coming up, everything's happening with interest rates, and now the debt is stacking on.
Well, look, if you have $100 on a credit card, it doesn't really matter what the interest rate is if you pay it off. But if you are accumulating a large amount, if all of a sudden you have $10,000,
that's right,
that interest rate really starts to make a difference.
It does, and a lot of people get stuck in living off their credit cards, thinking that I'm making payments with my credit cards, I'll be fine. They're not paying it off every month, and they're just using it as additional income. And that's when they really get trapped. They're paying the minimum or very minimum, and they keep using that credit card, and it keeps mounting up.
Car loans have kind of, let's face it, a few years ago, if you bought a car, you were almost just making installment payments. I mean, the interest rate almost
zero.
Almost didn't matter.
Yeah.
That's changed.
That's changed. Now, new car buys have slowed down a little bit, but used car buys are still up there. And because interest rates, they don't want to pay 6, 7, 8% on a new car, but used cars, they're more moderate, and it's staying pretty aggressive.
I think that when you owe more on a car than it's worth, the dealers call it being upside down. You have to really be careful with being upside down.
Yeah, they do, and it's just living beyond your means. And people are starting to pull back now. People are realizing it. There are a lot of people saving a lot of money now, and they're starting to use a budget, but unfortunately more people out there adding to that credit card debt.
You know, part of this, Ernie, in terms of somebody who's maybe in their late 20s, even into their 30s, who the whole world has changed. They were in high school or grade school the last time you really had to worry about interest rates.
True. In the last decade and a half, interest rates have been 3% or less. They've never seen 6 to 8 or 10% interest rates, and we're seeing that in different levels of credit.
And we've seen much higher interest rates in the past. 1980 was, crazy interest rates.
Yeah.
Would you describe this as more normal?
Actually, yes. This is actually more moderate to what we've used to the last 40 years. This is not too aggressive, and it doesn't look like we're having a major recession whatsoever. We'll probably have a minor recession later this year, and the market keeps calling for it. But the market's dodging it, and the economy is staying very strong.
Before people get too deep into this, what's your advice for somebody who starts to see that debt pile up? What do they do?
As we talked about in the past, let's say you're playing Monopoly with those credit cards. You have 4 different credit cards, the highest interest rate credit card, the largest debt, pay it off first. Start focusing on that and work your way down.
I've heard some people say, if you've got 3 cards, go after one of them. Really go after it and do it one at a time.
But do it one at a time, go after them, and then when you're done with it, cut it up.
Is it more important?
Keep one. Keep one.
Forgive me. Is it more important to do that or to save some money? What would you advise?
You are saving money when you're paying off debt. I would probably do that first.
Gotcha. All right, Ernie Burns, thanks as always.
Thank you.